Hello, this is Cleve True of Clear Vision of Truth. I'm back on YouTube with some comments and suggestions for Ron Van Dyke. I do hope that Ron will take these comments in the right spirit and not react with negative emotions. Many people who care about Ron have been banned from his channel. Maybe making this video will allow those old friends to get an essential message through to him in a way that will cause Ron to listen. And this could even change the pathway he is on. His recent videos talk about change and truth, so maybe he is ready to hear this message. Sometimes tough love means telling essential truths that someone does not want to hear. That is exactly what is behind this message. And we want Ron to hear this message and maybe break his old pattern. In the past, he has done the same thing again and again. He starts off feeling like a victim and then gets excited about a new idea, filling himself up with hopium. He jumps on board with enthusiasm without doing any real research. And then he promotes the new idea on his channel. He bans those who warn him against the flaws in the idea, and then eventually reality intrudes, and the idea falls apart. The result, Ron again finds himself living with disappointment. He now plans to take an extended holiday in Australia, and it sure looks like we will see the same old pattern about to repeat. So this is a warning to Ron and a suggestion about a different path that he could take. Over 6 months ago, some preparations were being made for me to interview Ron. My idea was to have a detailed interview with him, much like the one I did with Peter Van Runt about Swiss Indo. I wanted to learn what had gone wrong with OPPT, and also why Ron felt the ambassador had failed to deliver on his various promises. Ron had expressed some real interest in doing the interview, but I decided not to go ahead with it because I felt that Ron was not ready, that he was still giving excuses for his involvement with those endeavors. And he would not have been honest enough, wouldn't have been truthful enough to make the interviews interesting and worthwhile. As others have noticed, Ron does have the habit of being loyal to those who have lied to him and abusing those who told him the truth. How strange it is that he is now trying to mend bridges which those who have helped him to promote scams like OPPT and Swiss Indo. But he thinks it is just fine that he banned people who simply told him the truth before he was ready to hear it. To me, it seems like Ron is still too heavily invested in certain old delusions in his life. He does not yet want to face the truth. This video will include various suggestions for Ron, but first I want to read a post by Akita from the Acore forums. This was posted on April 27th, just after Ron did an interview with his friend called Steve. Akita wrote, "It's an old ploy. Get the sheeple to believe they are performing a sacred duty by giving you, Ron Van Dyke, their money so God can repay them in spades. That way Ron Van Dyke is doing the mark an awesome favor by providing an opportunity for him/her to get more blessings by tossing aside the existing blessings, while putting a little guilt trip on said mark if he declines to make the sacrifice. This trick has been on the planet since humans showed up, and it still works. It plays on greed, fear, wanting to feel better, the desire to help, a generous impulse, and all kinds of human foibles that aren't evil in themselves, but when used by a con artist, they take something of value from another without doing anything to deserve it. So now Ron is using his old buddy, Steve, to help justify his bizarre behavior and meanness. Definitely not an original motive. He just needs a witness. If people really want to help Ron Van Dyke, they'll stop with the PayPal offerings and encouraging him in his delusions. They are innocent souls out there on the net that are being affected by his darkness and confusion, and it's not necessary. P.T. Barnum or someone said, "There's a sucker born every minute." And true enough, there's also a multitude of sucker hunters just waiting. The post continues. Dr. Bubb, your plan is inspirational and workable. It also requires a miracle for the intended one to implement it. Now, what is Akita talking about here? Well, there were some suggestions for Ron posted by Dr. Bubb on his forum. Dr. Bubb calls them the Walking in the Light plan. And here they are, 8 suggestions for Ron. Number 1, cancel the trip to Australia. Number 2, get his life in order in Florida. Find a place to live that he can actually afford, maybe walking distance from his son. Unpack and move in. Number 3, aim for a beautiful and simple life with fewer possessions and maybe without a car. Number 4, find ways to serve his family, his neighbors, and his community in a joyous way. Number 5, embrace the truth even when uncomfortable and give up the delusions. Number 6, learn how to research ideas for the betterment of humanity and work with those who seek truth in both heart and in mind. Remember, resonance is not enough. Number 7, offer some videos, interviews perhaps, with friends on a membership basis so that Ron can earn some income from the videos that he makes. Number 8, Ron should consider opening a new channel that starts out with a blank slate, i.e. no one banned, and allow real and truthful discussions to take place on the new channel. Unquote. Well, there you go. 8 good suggestions. And Dr. Bubb asked for your reactions, and I welcome you to post them here. Thank you very much for listening. This is Cleve True, signing off.